Hi everybody, I'm back home in Palatka in my Soul Style studio. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm wearing a beautiful turquoise, beautiful pendant with some turquoise stones that I actually found in a resale boutique. And one of my best places to find my favorite pieces are the vintage and resale shops. So, and I love knowing that there's history with this, and I love wearing turquoise, which is a healing stone, over my heart. And basically, that's what I want to talk today is about ways that I help myself and share with my clients on how I keep myself mentally well in today's world, especially right now. So, right, I'm gonna talk about five different things today that I use to keep myself, especially on Sundays and Mondays, lifted up. So, first of all, I think it's important to pick a time of the week where you know that you can give yourself some care and attention and slow everything down, turn everything off. So that would be, for me, would be Sundays and Mondays. So historically, we know from a Christian tradition to take one day off for rest a month. And the French did a study, and I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was with, I think, donkeys that worked in the coal mines or something crazy like that. And they found that that actually the bodies of their workers and their animals started breaking down on day 9. So, we have, it's just part of the instruction manual for these bodies that we have, that we do need to take, I would say, one day off every 7 to 8 days completely to decharge and de-stress. So I would say rest. My friend Kirk helped me with this. He said, Retha, you just have to unplug. Like, he would just sleep the whole day. It wasn't once a week, I think, but he said every once in a while I know when I need to do that. And he's a real go, go, go person. And he really helped me to get used to the idea of, and even though it's hard on my ego because I love to get stuff done, I'm always work, work, work. But sometimes, for me, that was Friday. I couldn't move. I just completely stayed in bed and rested. So I think, you have to be in touch with your body enough to actually understand when that's happening. And when your body's like, stop. And if you'll do your once a week self-care, you won't need your body to break down to tell you that it's time, right? So, and what's always curious for me is, unfortunately, it seems to me the church tradition in the United States is, you work, you go to school, you do all these things, you take care of your kids, and then the one day of rest that you have, you got to get up early and go to church. That does not make sense to me at all. In fact, I'm really in favor of Sunday evening services, because on Sunday evenings, I feel a need to get with my community and feel loved and connected, do a potluck, do some singing around a fire. To me, that feels more human and natural. And, people need to make love on Sunday mornings. They need to rest and get up and have a yummy breakfast and nurture each other and go slow, So I think, that's, in my perfect world, that would be what a day of rest would look like. All right, so the other thing that I want to talk about, give me 1 second and I will show you, is having a stack of books that fill you up and inspire you. So I have 2 different books that I really go to for spiritual nourishment. 2 or 3 actually, and then I have a resource called Good Vibe University, which is Jeanette Ma, the Good Vibe coach, and she has an online community. And I listen to their broadcasts. I listen to their teaching. There are people that share there. I tune in. I have my community there about people that are thinking positive and really trying to uplift their lives, and the mental tools that they're using to do so, the spiritual tools, the mental tools. for me, I have to feed my brain. I'm a very creative person. I'm a smart person. I can't just read the same thing over and over again. And you know, my brain is growing. I'm a growing, living human being. So I'm always going to be learning. But these books are kind of like my spiritual foundation. And I think it's important to find those things that really resonate with who you are right now as a person, the books that, or the teachings that really turn you on, that feel true to you, that uplift your spirit. And so the stuff that works for me has a faith foundation, because I am a faith person. And then it also has kind of quantum thinking. And those two together really work for me, because I think it's ancient spiritual truths that connect me with Source, that let me know that I feel loved and cared about by the universe, by God, the universe, Great Spirit, whatever words you want to use. Those are, I need that. And I need that more than getting up and going to a building and sitting in a group of people and listening to one person talk. I kind of need to know, like, I know I trust the source of the books that I read, that every time my spirit feels uplifted. And really, your source of truth lives inside of you, and you can feel what's going to lift you up. Now, if you're tuned into the media, unfortunately, you are tuning into a very low vibration of fear. And if you're going to do that, if you choose to do that, you are going to have to offset that with faith, because faith and fear are on the same vibration. They're on the same stick. One is a high vibration, one is a low vibration. If you feed your fear, you're going to lower your faith. And if your faith is low, your fear is going to grow. So I'll date, that's going to be my message for the rest of my life, because it's just true. For me, very, very true. So I'm here. I am always working on my faith. I'm always building my faith up inside myself. And so those books and podcasts and broadcasts help me to keep that state. And my media, I keep my media to almost just a crack, just a tiny little crack coming in through a door where I kind of generally know what's happening in the world. So there is, I can't remember the name of the woman. I think it was Dr. Christian Northrup, but she talked about how we can only handle the good and bad news of 120 people, of their lives and our own. So when you're turning into the media all the time and you're hearing the bad news of the whole world, your system you can't handle it emotionally. You can't, I was just talking to a friend of mine who had somebody run into his car and they died, and it was very sad. It was a young person, and they were speeding on a motorcycle and they ran into his car and they died. And, he had to deal with the ramifications of someone dying because of, and he was a part of it and he didn't want to be. And how traumatic that was. And, it takes a lot of time to process those feelings of grief and sadness and maybe anger, whatever, he's feeling. But if you have that in your face and then all this other broadcasted bad news, plus, your family and your kids, your spirit can't take it, you guys. You have to pull back. In order to have enough, you have to fill your own well so that you have enough to give others, okay? So I go through regular periods of just getting quiet. I might do a broadcast and I might work with clients, but I'm not, out talking to tons of people, doing tons of stuff all the time. I do things that make me feel good, and I follow my fun and I follow my bliss, but I rest a lot, I read a lot. I spend a lot of quiet time with myself. And that's how I recharge in order to give so much when I do give so much. Last week I had a busy week with clients, and I did give out a lot. You can even hear it in my voice, like I'm a little tired, even though I got enough sleep, but there's just a rest process that needs to happen. So, if I'm one person on your social media saying, hey, take time to rest, it's important to rest, but you also have to refill. You have to refill your spirit. So I don't think there's enough people saying that. I think that's how we were made. And I think the value of good food and loving someone and closeness and intimacy and laughter and music and dance and sitting around a fire and being outside in nature and having creatures, fur babies to love on, all of that is restorative. But even on top of that, I think we need to find things to listen to that make us remember that life is good and that we can have joy. So that is what I would love for you to consider today. Am I resting enough at least once every 7 days, like a full day of rest where you're not obligated to do anything. You can just literally unplug and stop doing and feel your feelings and take care of your body. And then the second thing is, how do I refuel my spirit? How do I fill back up and remember that life is good, that I'm okay? And that might just be only having 120 people in your world, the good and bad news of what they're dealing with, instead of the entire world. It might be pulling back and just taking care of yourself and taking action on what you can do to be powerful in the world, what you can do to affect change. And a lot of times that's just when you take care of yourself, then you have energy to be an agent of change in the world. I hope you like this message. If it means something to you, I'd love for you to comment below. And if you like it, share it. That would be great. Have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.